I did all these things, after I told the young people, don't wear the bonnets, have pride in what you do, I really felt like she was sincere. I really felt like she wanted to make that change. I really felt like she didn't want to be the overweight woman who screams at the beginning of her show for at least 30 minutes before it actually started. Y'all remember her show, right? Her talk show. Ah! That's all she did. Y'all remember that for the first 30 minutes? She did that. I could be exaggerating by the first 30 minutes, but at least for the first 5, she screamed. Y'all know that she yelled the whole first 5 to 10 minutes of her show. But I liked her show, so I just had to tune in 10 minutes late. It's okay. I did like it. But I think that I really feel like she was trying to make a change. I think she wanted to show up and be like, I'm at a certain age now. Some of you all are calling me auntie. It's time for me to settle in and be an example. And this is how I can start, because I don't like the way this looks either. I can see now this doesn't look good. It's not a good representation of young women, young Black women. So I really believe that that's what way she was going. But on Saturday night, I saw something different. I saw on Saturday night, she didn't care what you think, what I think, what anybody else thinks. She's going to be who she wants to be. And we can basically take it or leave it. Now, where she wants to be was that woman. She was too comfortable, because I told y'all the next day, anybody can mess up, right? We can. Bad, I walked in. This is my new start. Fox Studio, hadn't been in 20 years. I got it going on. I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden they put me in my place. So my ego was bruised. They put me in my place. So instead of me being headliner, because that's what my contract said, I'll be headliner. Instead of me being headliner, I'm now still going on before DL. But it said that. And then he pulling the shots because he said he going to walk away if he don't get to do it. So now I've regressed. So now I'm that woman who can handle things, and I'm seeing myself differently, and I'm older now, and I got people looking up at me and looking towards me for, good examples of what I'm getting ready to do. And this happened. But instead of just being saying and just coming clean, God, y'all, I felt the victim. I felt I was so wrong. I shouldn't have behaved that way. It was a great opportunity, what have you. She just couldn't find it in her to do it at all. So when men tell you that women accountability is like kryptonite, it would have killed her to say, I was wrong. This would have been a whole different conversation. She was not going to do it. She doubled down on it. That was her opportunity to win again. And she said, no, I'm going to show you where they did me wrong and how I am a victim. She did it again. She did it again. And then guess what? She took it completely off of what was actually the case. So I'm wondering, I want y'all to wonder too, before I tell you this last part. If she would have actually gotten to be the headliner and performed at the end of the show, would any of this have happened? Would she have given DL a pass for another 5 years? Because if it's anywhere between 10 and 20, 25 wouldn't have mattered, would it? And he still would have been on the show with her, right? But would it have made a difference? Would she still have approached him? Because if she wouldn't have, then what difference did it make? Because she said he was going to have his ass handed to him no matter what. So what difference did it make whether you came on as a headliner or the second to the headliner? The money was the same. You agreed upon the money. Okay, the promoters, they jacked you. They did what they did. But what difference would it make if you were already planning to do this? So this is the last and most important part, though. And I don't think we take this kind of stuff in consideration because, again, we live in our lives. We're doing what we're doing and we're just busy, The last thing was the husband said, and this was very big, and he just talking, y'all. I mean, I don't know what kind of agreement they have or anything. Marriage being open, definitely open in always, conversation, open in sex, open in whatever you want to do, because he just was talking. And she talks a lot too, but hey, it is what it is. But he said that, now y'all keep in mind, Monique was molested at 7 by her older brother. He was 15 or 16 years old. And then he took her down the street and gave her to her friends, and they did it too. And that's where it changed. That's where it all changed. So I don't know if he realizes he's saying these things or how deep or I don't think he understands how big that is to her. And I don't know anything about Monique as far as has she's gotten therapy, has she done anything to get help for that. She just looked. I don't even think her face changed in any kind of way. They didn't elaborate on it because at that point I turned it off. But before we go on and get into that more, let's get those likes up, guys. When you come into the live, make sure you're giving me the thumbs up. I would appreciate it because we're just having the conversation because it just got real. Because out of all the bad behavior that we have, we're always talking about trauma and we're always talking about dysfunction and things that have happened to us when we were younger or throughout our life and how it reflects and how it shows up. And all of that she's went through showed up that night. Now, I know you all want to just call it like it is. And I'm calling it like it is, too, because it's time to grow up. You know, even though she's 54, I don't think she's ready to grow up because that's the real problem. The real problem was, and this is just me. Y'all can do whatever you want to do. And she could say whatever she wants. But her husband said he wanted us to keep it in mind. She said, remember, y'all. Now, this is not something I know. He's talking like it has been a whole documentary made about it, and it could be. But he said this. He said this because this is what he wants y'all to excuse. He said this because I need you all to excuse the behavior because of this. Excuse Saturday night and everything else because remember, Monique was molested at 7 years old by her brother, who was 15 or 16 years old. And then he took her to some of his friends, and they did the same thing. And he went on to say, when she got of age and realized the violation, she's been a victim since she was 7 years old, y'all. And she has never, ever, this is me talking, she would say different, but she has never gotten out of that mode. She's never gotten out of that mode of being a victim. She was a victim at 7. And I don't think anybody has helped her since that time. And I think sometimes what we see, she's a grown woman now, she's 54, and we can revert back. And I really don't think she's had to help, y'all. I don't think she has. I don't know, but I wish she get it. Because what she gave us the other day was a terrible example of a Black woman. And she needs to know that. And there's no excuses for it. Listen, people deal with trauma. People have dysfunction. Terrible things. And that was a terrible thing that happened to her. That was a violation that cannot be overlooked. It doesn't need to be played down. But at 54, we cannot continue to put that kind of weight on that. I get it. But what I'm saying is now you need to have had some help. Somebody along the way should say, you know what? This is not normal behavior. It's not normal for a woman to yell for the first 5 or 10 minutes of her show. What's going on? I see you, though. I see you. I understand when you were being violated, nobody saw you. Or when your parents found out about it, nobody cared enough. Or nobody saw you then either. But I see you with your yelling, your screaming. I see you. So is this why you're yelling and screaming at the beginning of your show? Because I see you. You have all my attention. I'm seeing you. Okay, now what? Are you funny? Are you talented? You are so funny and talented, but not now. Not that demonstration on Saturday night. I don't ever want to hear a woman, an adult woman, talk about let me say that again. I don't want to hear any woman talk about a man's parts and him bending over, him being on the DL and all those things that she said. Now she pretends and says, I didn't talk about his wife. No, you said something about her hating to make love to her husband. Too far, too much. But then she says, oh, but I'm a comedian. Come on. Everything ain't funny. It wasn't funny when Jasmine was saying, would you rather? It wasn't funny. It was offensive. It was offensive. And I agree with you that it was offensive. What you said to DL or about DL the other night was offensive. Very offensive. And see, this is the part that gets real sticky here because I don't know what DL was at the time, but he couldn't come out there and slap her. The way that Will Smith did to Chris. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do that. And I'm sure he wouldn't have. But come on. Listen, this, by the way, and I don't know. She has not been my documentary, y'all. I don't study Monique, and I hope she's good. I hope she's okay. But this is not good, guys. It is not good. She is not the example of our community. And I pray that you all are not looking up to her to be that example, because I think that there is some untreated trauma that she has gone through that is very deep. And instead of us instead of her getting help or people understanding and just moving slow with her and listening, it's been compounded. It's been compounded over the years. And nobody's ever said, I love you enough to tell you that we need to do something about this. And I'm not saying she hasn't had trauma, but therapy. But if she had, it's not over. We're not done. Because that right there, that demonstration on Saturday night was terrible. It was terrible, y'all.